The likelihood of a fight with you and Terence Crawford, it would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We don't talking about yet about the fight. Me and we're gonna know each other, and then we wanna.
The fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford had finally been confirmed, and boxing fans around the world couldn't believe it. After months of speculation, whispers, and behind-the-scenes negotiations, the two legends had agreed to face each other in September 2025. It felt like a dream come true, a clash between two of the greatest fighters in the sport. But things might actually be completely different after Canelo pulled out of the deal.
The Sheik said that he would be willing to pay whatever you want to fight Crawford.
Fine.
Yeah.
If he's willing to pay whatever I want, hands down.
That'll work. Yeah, so if yeah.
Canelo and Crawford had both attended the prestigious Ring Magazine Awards in London, where talks with Saudi boxing chief Alec took a huge step forward. Alec, who has become one of the most influential figures in boxing, had been pushing hard to make the fight happen. Photos of both fighters posing with him after their meeting set the internet on fire. Fans were full of excitement as reports from reliable sources, including ESPN knockout journalist Julius Julianis, claimed that the deal was done.
And some breaking news, this guy, Julius Julianis, who's an ESPN Knockouts reporter, is reporting that the fight isn't only about to be announced, but the contracts are signed between...
This isn't just any fight, it is a historic event in the making, one that could define an era. Canelo Alvarez, the king of the super middleweight division at 168 pounds, would take on Terence Crawford, the WBA champion at 154 pounds, who was ready to move up 2 weight classes to make the fight happen. It was a risky move for Crawford, but he was willing to take on the challenge head-on. Canelo, who had dominated at 168 pounds, had been hesitant about this fight in the past. He felt he had little to gain and much to lose. After Crawford defeated Edgar Bunga and called him out, Canelo dismissed the idea, saying, "If I beat him, people will just say he's too small." But things had changed. Canelo seemed more open to the idea now, and during the awards weekend, he said, "There's always a chance. We'll see. But there's always a chance. Anything is possible."
Can't go down anymore. But like he say, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't wanna get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because everybody's gonna.
Crawford, on the other hand, had been waiting for this moment. At 37 years old, he knew he didn't have much time left in the sport, but he also knew this fight could take his legacy to another level. He had already conquered 4 weight classes, but becoming a 5-weight world champion by beating Canelo Alvarez would be the ultimate achievement. It would be the kind of moment that boxing fans talk about for generations. The payday for both fighters would be massive. Sheik had promised a deal that would make this one of the most lucrative fights in boxing history. For Crawford, it was a chance to secure his financial future while chasing greatness. For Canelo, it was an opportunity to prove once again why he's considered one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world.
More weight classes, like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo, he's going to slow down.
But just as things seemed to be falling into place, doubts began to creep in. The same issues that had delayed the fight before were back. The biggest concern is still the weight difference. Canelo is a natural super middleweight, strong and powerful at 168 pounds. Crawford, on the other hand, would have to gain 14 pounds to reach that weight. That's a lot for any fighter, and it's not just about adding muscle, it's about maintaining speed, stamina, and strength against a naturally bigger opponent. Canelo's past comments about the fight resurfaced, reminding everyone why this matchup had been so difficult to arrange. He had said before, "I have nothing to gain and everything to lose. He is still small for me." Even now, with the fight seemingly confirmed, those doubts hadn't completely disappeared.
Since we're on the same topic, what do we think about this fight with Canelo and Crawford if it's at 168?
Him saying it's an easy fight, he's out of his damn mind.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you're the most comfortable.
Crawford, though, saw this as a challenge he was ready to face. He knew the risks, but he also knew the reward. Beating Canelo Alvarez would make him one of the greatest fighters of all time. It would be a moment that erased any doubts about his greatness. For someone who had already achieved so much, this fight felt like the perfect way to cap off an incredible career. Both fighters had their own motivations. For Canelo, the pool of challengers at 168 pounds was drying up. He had already beaten some of the best fighters in the division, and there weren't many big-name opponents left. A fight with Crawford offered something fresh, something exciting. For Crawford, it was about proving himself against the best, even if it meant stepping into unfamiliar territory.
It is a 50-50. So Canelo fights an undisputed champ, up-and-coming former champion, and an up-and-coming undefeated contender. And somehow those three last opponents are somehow compared to Bud's Madrimov fight, making it a 50-50.
Fans were torn between excitement and nervousness. They wanted to see the fight, but they also knew how fragile these deals could be. The talks had progressed quickly, but that didn't mean everything was set in stone. Alec himself added to the suspense with his cryptic words, "The ring is the Bible of boxing, and we are close to seeing the white smoke on the horizon." 2025 will be a crazy year for boxing, and I mean it. The excitement was real, but so were the challenges. Both fighters had to overcome their own doubts and make sacrifices to make this fight a reality. Canelo had to get past the idea that he had more to lose than gain. Crawford had to push his body to its limits to compete at a higher weight.
Need to come back down to 47 and meet him. That's crazy. Why would he? Bud looking to try to make history and get out. Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He willing to take that gamble, see if he can beat him. If he beats him, he may go fight Benavidez next. If he don't beat him, he say, okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done.
For now, the fight remains one of the most talked about events in boxing. Riyadh Seasons Turki Al-Sheikh has been at the heart of these negotiations, working tirelessly to bring the fight to life. With Canelo defending his WBC, WBA, and WBO super middleweight titles, Crawford is chasing history. The 37-year-old from Omaha, Nebraska, is stepping up 2 weight divisions in a daring attempt to become a 5-weight world champion. It's a feat that would further cement his legacy, but the challenge ahead is immense. One fighter who's been vocal about this dream matchup is WBO super lightweight champion Teofimo Lopez.
It's disrespectful for Crawford to call you out at 68, say that he can beat you at this weight?
No, everybody wants to fight with me, so it's fine.
That being a biggest fight possible in boxing, is that something you'd actually be interested in?
It's crazy when you asking about that because you say...
Yes News, Lopez didn't hold back when discussing how he sees the fight playing out. While he acknowledged Crawford's brilliance, Lopez ultimately gave the edge to Canelo, predicting a late stoppage in favor of the Mexican superstar. "It's a big money fight," Lopez said. "Overall, we'll all be winning seeing those two fight. I think it will be great. I think Crawford is going to give Canelo a hard time in the beginning, but once Canelo gets a little bit comfortable in that ring, adapting to Crawford's style, we'll see Canelo finishing him off in the late rounds."
Not able to walk through me. Honestly, if anybody could jump up in weight classes and do it, it's Terence Crawford. I don't know nobody who is mentally as strong as Terence Crawford. So,
Lopez's prediction reflects what many fans and experts are thinking. Crawford may have the skill and sharpness to trouble Canelo early, but the sheer size and power of the super middleweight king could be too much for him to handle over 12 rounds. Although there hasn't been an official announcement yet, rumors were swirling that the fight will be held at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. The massive 65,000-seat venue seems fitting for a fight of this magnitude. If confirmed, it will be a spectacle unlike any other, with fans from all over the world flocking to see two legends collide under the bright lights of Sin City.
The crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. So let's not do that.
As the talk continues to grow, Amir Khan, one of the few fighters to have faced both Canelo and Crawford, weighed in with his thoughts on the matchup. Speaking from experience, Khan highlighted the unique challenges both men will face but admitted that Canelo's size could be the deciding factor. "Canelo is a beast, man," Khan said. "I fought both of those guys, and I feel that size always wins. Having weight divisions, there's a purpose behind that. Khan, who suffered a brutal 6th-round knockout against Canelo in 2016, understands better than most just how dangerous it is to step into the ring with someone like Alvarez. While he praised Crawford as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters of his generation, he made it clear that the weight difference cannot be ignored. Terence is special, don't get me wrong, but then he's getting hit by a guy like Canelo, Khan continued. What a fight that would be though. I'll root for my boy Terence and want him to win that fight, but it would be hard.
Canelo, I think that's weird, you know, because you'd have to gain like, what, 20 pounds? Yeah. But they say that's the money fight. That's the mega fight, that's the money fight, that's the only thing that makes sense for Terence Crawford.
Well, you know what I mean? Catch weight. We can do something out of catch weight.